Let's go to the news about a friend of the show. There's another thing that people don't like. Friend of the show, Keanu C. Thompson. Did you see the news involving Keanu this weekend?
No, what happened with her?
Back in the New York Post again. Goddamn, I was texting with Gino and Keanu this weekend, and I was like, every 5 months or so, Keanu is in the New York Post. And the most family-friendly thing she's been in the New York Post for in the last year and a half is, taking her clothes off at the airport. I mean, that's the most family-friendly thing that Keanu has been in the New York Post for. There was the shooting.
Yep.
We remember her getting shot at.
She was live on air while that happened.
She was on the air and a shooting happened. Then there was, I think first, her and Chrissy were not allowed on a plane because of the way they were dressed.
Because of their dressing, yeah. The way they were dressed.
The way they looked. And now Keanu's back in the New York Post. Do you remember that comedian who dressed up as Trump and trolled Alec Baldwin in the streets of New York a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I remember that guy. She had some not so nice things to say about him.
Well, we were talking about it on this show, and somebody can dig it up. I never thought to clip it because I didn't think it would end up being this huge story. I said when we were watching on the show, I'm like, there's something off about this guy. I'm like, there's something creepy about him. Like, yeah, I guess it's kind of funny that he's going up to Alec Baldwin like this, and he's trolling him and saying you murdered that woman, Alec, blah blah blah. But then there was and I criticized him. I'm like, there's this. I hate it when people know they aren't going to get hit, and they try to push to get hit.
Right.
I hate that. That's such a phony thing to me. And I thought he was being kind of a phony when he was, he was trying to taunt Alec Baldwin into doing something, knowing that with all those cameras on him, Alec wouldn't do anything. Yeah. And then Alec said something to the effect of, if these cameras weren't here, I'd kill you. Or something like that. I'd beat the shit out of you or something like that.
Right.
And this guy, then he kept taunting him. Because Alec accidentally gave the game away. He's not going to do anything. So Alec basically told him, I'm not going to do anything. So this guy just keeps poking at him. I'm like, this guy, it's a funny bit, whatever, but he's kind of a worm. He's kind of a piece of shit. Well, you know how they say a dog can smell evil on a person?
Yeah.
I feel like I can kind of smell evil. I can just kind of
recognize the scent, do you?
I don't know it at the time, but I'll say there's something about this person. There's something. I don't know what it is specifically, but there's something. And then it turns out, here's the thing, and I go, that's the one. That's what I was talking about. That guy's a piece of shit. Well, Keanu came out. She came forward, and she said, this guy, not just abusive, beat the living shit out of me. Stomped on my wrist until he broke it. It battered her. There's pictures all over online.
Yeah, I've seen some of the pictures.
Yeah, where her face is swollen and everything.
She looked like
else.
Amaranth claims she should be.
Right. In those pictures, yes, Johnny, Keanu looked like Amaranth is supposed to look. And, that's the thing is a lot of people, like they will when these abuse allegation things come up, especially when it's something like a Trump impersonator that people find funny. They don't want to believe that this guy that they clicked like on and they clicked share on did something horrible. But this person has proof. Keanu has proof that all this stuff happened. I know people, they bring up to Keanu the bullshit April said. April, no offense, God bless her. I hope she's doing great. But the April I knew when she got in trouble or her fat was in the fire or she was facing any kind of adversity, she'd make up shit about people to get shit off of her. She was very good at playing the victim to get out of something terrible she did. Keanu even recognized that. Keanu, we've all talked, and I think she said publicly, she's like, yeah, any stuff April was talking about from a long time ago, she's lying. It's just April got herself in a situation. She got herself in trouble, and she only knew how to play victim to try and get out of it. So it was nice that people kind of saw through that shit. But this Keanu thing, there's proof. There's evidence. Yeah. So yes, do people lie about stuff like this, especially when things go bad, especially when they look bad, especially when there's a breakup or anything like that? Yes, absolutely. Men lie, women lie. It happens. But Keanu has no reason to lie about this. I've seen people going, oh, fucking just because he's famous now, just because he went viral, she's coming. There's documentation. There's a charge. Like there's a restraining order. There's all of this stuff. I mean, it's out there. There's photos. It happened. There's photos and documents, the whole deal. So this Trump impersonator guy who trolled Alec Baldwin, Keanu comes out because she's like, now wait. Think about this. Think about it for a minute. This guy it becomes famous. You have to see his face everywhere. And this guy stomped on your hand until he broke your wrist. I wouldn't
be happy about that.
You gotta say something at that point. This guy goes viral. He's everywhere. He's all over the place. You gotta say something. You don't, if something really did happen, you don't, marry him and then do a show with him and, help raise a family. You certainly don't do that. That would be what a liar would do. They get really famous. And now you have to see their face everywhere. And so you have to come forward and say something. Otherwise, this guy, he's basically getting a free pass, and you know what he did. I'm sure Keanu sleeps a lot better saying something than she does.
You don't need to make it a crusade to end the guy's career, but you need to at least chime up once and be like, hey, for my 2 cents, this guy's a piece of shit.
Right, and she's not coming up like the Brian Callen horse shit and just saying something happened. Mm-hmm. She's not like, April or anyone else who just says something happened because, they didn't get their way. Like the, who's the Indian comic?
Who's
Aziz.
Yeah.
Aziz Ansari. Some girl had a bad time with him and it didn't go the way she wanted. So she Me Too'd him. And then you get the whole story and you go, well, wait a minute. That's not a Me Too. It's just.
The guy was cruising and you gave signals and it turned out that's the worst part is like, oh, I know if I play into this, I get a relationship. Like, that's not how the deal works. You don't get to just decide those things. And then if someone changes their mind later, they go, oh, wait a minute. Now I decided I wasn't getting the deal I wanted. So now I'm revoking whatever permissions or go signals I gave you before. I can't go back and take back my actions. You can't take back it's weird.
Yeah. With this one, she didn't come out to break this guy or end this guy. She just released all the stuff and said, by the way, this guy you're worshiping, this guy you think is great,
you're obsessed with.
Here you go. The Donald Trump impersonating comedian who went viral last week for taunting Alec Baldwin abused his ex-girlfriend, breaking her wrist in a jealous rage when another male comic texted her, court records show. And he allegedly attacked another ex under eerily similar circumstances. So now we got a corroborating thing going on here.
Oh boy, a pattern.
Comedian Jason Scup. I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Oh, dear Lord.
That's got to be
now I know why he dressed like Donald Trump. I wouldn't show up with that face either.
He looks like a lesbian.
Yeah.
He does. He looks like that chick from Garfunkel and Oates.
Oh no, he looks like her Downsy sister.
It does look like a gay lady though.
Yeah,
we can argue.
Strangely effeminate with the chubby cheeks.
We can quibble over which effeminate lesbian he looks like, but he looks like an effeminate lesbian.
I gotta say, I'm looking at a couple of features on this photo, hair, nose, and things, and I'm just And then how's that last name spelt again?
He's a Slavic motherfucker. Got some cinnamon rolls in the background. He likes his tasty treats, of course. No, he looks like a bitch.
I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful to Keanu C. Thompson.
You better fucking be careful.
Why did she get with this guy in the first place? Like, what did he do to her?
He's funny. He's a comedian.
I have doubts.
The guys can be funny, and girls like that.
Nobody's that funny. Look, he's that funny, and
he didn't stomp on her wrist as like a how do you do? He didn't.
I'm not even talking about that part. I'm talking about what I'm looking at right now. I'm saying there's a certain level of I wouldn't approach that. Just in that face.
Well, all that says is that Keanu's not a shallow person and that she looks more than skin deep. I mean, look at Gino.
Yeah, mock it all you want, but guess who's not in that?
Gino's disgusting. Gino is what they call a poor man's Jason Moustakis, whatever the fuck his name is. It's funny. SP and I were watching Dirty Grandpa again, and every time that Pam character comes on, we go, Jesus Christ, it's Gino. Like it's the same guy, personality and everything. But Keanu likes him, a little more, shall we say, unconventional looking and humorous. That's what she likes. And she found in Gino a man who's unconventional looking and humorous who won't stomp on her wrist until it breaks.
The perfect package.
Yeah. The most Gino will do is say, "To the moon, Keanu," and that's only because he was alive when The Honeymooners was on. That's the worst Gino's going to do. Comedian Jason Scoop, 33, known professionally as Jason Scoop. Yeah, I would use that too. Pled guilty in Manhattan criminal court in December 2021 to domestic violence charges involved. So, I mean, this isn't someone coming out and saying something happened and now it's a he said, she said, which would be criticizable.
No.
This is, it's documented, it's proven. The pair dated for 2 years until February 7th, 2021, when allegedly snapped after his girlfriend received a text from a male comedian. It was said in the phone to be a G. Bisconti. Authorities are still trying to figure out who that is. Screamed at her, spit on her, and stomped on her right wrist until it broke. Oof. Thompson, also a comedian, reported to the police on April 13th, 2 months after the incident. She was granted an order of protection. He's a violent, abusive monster, Thompson said. He's disturbed and deranged and gets off on hitting women. Yeah, and like if you're Donald Trump, you certainly want to find a way to ban this guy legally from impersonating you.
Oh, yeah.
And if I may, the impression, not that great. I think I said that too during the Alec Baldwin thing. I'm like, it's not the best Trump impression ever.
It was all right. It just the whole bit went on way, way too long. And then like the impression got worse as it went on, so it just didn't work out. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, there's the face after he slapped her. Yeah, she definitely looks worse than Amaranth.
Yeah.
Amaranth got quote unquote. Do you know what pistol whipping does to your face?
It should almost technically fracture some bones because that's a hard thing.
You should look like, when like old people bump into a counter and their hip is like purple for a month. Like the whole hip just turns purple. That's what your face looks like after you get pistol whipped. So this is Keanu. This is just getting slapped. This is getting smacked.
Yeah, I really don't believe anything that happened to Amaranth.
Yeah. I mean, it's, people have this thing where they go, believe all women or all women are lying whores or this or that. It's neither of those things. It's individuals are individuals. Judge each thing on its individual merit. Don't get yourself caught up in these teams or these causes. Look at things the way they are. Your brain, like, we all have good instincts, at least I believe we do, on what's true and what's not. If you hear some shit and then somebody else says some shit, you can generally you can be guaranteed that it's somewhere in the middle. Like everybody's lying a little bit. But like if you got pictures and you got video and you got all this other shit, that's hard to argue with.
It certainly doesn't help your case when you have none of those except for a bad impersonation.
Right, exactly. So it's Keanu, I was texting the two of them this weekend and I'm just like, could you guys make the news for something that's not horrific? Like a shooting. Like I said, taking your clothes off at the airport is the most family-friendly thing she's been in the New York Post for.